Hi, my name is Antonis, and today you will see me drawing something from the work of Michelangelo, one of the so-called ignudi, the naked male figures from the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican City. And as you see, I'm using just a white piece of paper and a relatively soft pencil, a simple soft pencil that you can find everywhere. And I will start drawing this little by little. First, the first thing here is to start a little bit playfully, a little bit, without any stress, without any anxiety of painting something completely perfect. So I'll start by observing my reference photo, the figure of Michelangelo, and I will try to see how big my figure will be placed on my piece of paper. And little by little I will start by finding the contours of the figure, the face, the head, the shape of the back of the figure, his arms, etc. I will try to be as specific as I can, and it's really a fantastic exercise for all of you who want to hone your skills in drawing, to just place something in front of you, no matter if this is something from the actual life, like painting an object, placing an object on a table, or something from a painting or a drawing that you like. We call this a study. Here this is a study on the work of Michelangelo, I would say. And as you see here, I know the video has already progressed a lot, but I'm still at the part where I'm searching for shapes of shadow and light, shapes that will help me define the volume and draw the figure as it is a muscular young man. So when I'm drawing, let me just share with you that I have an internal dialogue that doesn't consist of questions like, is this good, is this bad? I'm constantly I'm losing myself when I'm drawing in terms of what the object that I'm drawing is. And I'm in a mode where I'm just looking for shapes, lines, etc. I'm trying, the questions and the dialogue that I internally have is questions like, what is the dynamic of this line? Is this line higher than the one next to it? How much higher is this line? Or if I extend this line here at where it will hit the rest of the body, and questions like that. In this video I want to share with you mostly these thoughts of the process. And of course, drawing is a skill that somebody can always hone. It's something that you can never completely learn. There's no end to what we can learn, but the main idea when we draw is that it's like going to the gym. It's an exercise that will make our skills better, improve our skills. And when I'm saying skills, it's mainly improving the way we look something, and the way we will transfer this object, our subject, on our piece of paper. So it's important to really ask the right questions. Don't worry if the final result is not something, perfect, but mostly approach this as a great way to hone and get your skills stronger in drawing. So what we do when we draw is we look and then we transfer what we look on our paper. So it's important, as I say, when, for example, we draw a human body or a face, to not just draw, eyes, hands, or something like that, but even though we are to depict the human body, but to draw lines and shapes. This is how we should approach it, and definitely asking the right questions, like as I said before about the lines, the dynamic of the lines, how much this shape, how bigger this shape is than the other, or try, or also understanding the concept of that says that shapes is not just a square or a circle or a triangle, but shapes can be more abstract. Like here, for example, on his back, I see several shapes of light. These shapes are not geometrical, let's say, shapes, but still they are shapes. I see them on my reference photo, and I want to make sure that I will transfer these shapes on my drawing. At the same time, I want to make sure that I take notice of how abruptly the shapes of light are blended to the shapes of the shadow, and to transfer this relationship, their abrupt blending or their soft blending, etc. It is it can be very complicated, but at the same time, drawing is very satisfying, because we use just one tool, the pencil and the paper, and we can learn so many things, and we can become so much better in painting as well. Drawing is a matter of seeing, being able to see things, and this is what we have to practice. Now, at the same time, as you see here, I'm adding some shades, and here it's something, a similar way of thinking. When I'm adding a shade, a shadow, I'm thinking, okay, how darker this shadow is in comparison to another shadow, and of course I want to make sure that I will I will it will be clear in my mind which areas are the darkest and which areas will be the brighter, and to make sure that I will transfer these relationships on my drawing. If I make everything dark, then I will not be able to reveal the volume, to reveal the light. And it's a matter of comparison, and this internal dialogue that I earlier mentioned about how is something in comparison to something else. It is really important. Now, here, let me be a little bit more specific on this drawing. Let me tell you a little bit about this process. When after I've defined the figure, the outlines of my figure, I started placing some shadows, but then, and you will see it later on, then I want this drawing to also be visually interesting. I don't want to copy the gesture of and the style of Michelangelo exactly, but I want this drawing to be rich and visually interesting. So I use my eraser, and you saw this earlier. I use my eraser to somehow blend further the shadows. As the pencil writes on the paper, it does create a beautiful trace, but this can be further more interesting and more beautiful if somehow we push the graphite into the paper. So for this, I often use my fingers to just smear the the, the graphite in the paper. Sometimes I find this interesting, and sometimes I use the eraser itself and this is kind of it's a little bit strange, but the eraser after a little it become full of graphite, so it can be a tool to further, you know, blend the graphite within the paper, and it does create something very, very interesting. Here I use the eraser to redefine these shapes of light, the shapes of light on the back of the figure. But as I say, it's a matter of, you know, understanding your tools. I often use, if the eraser is you know, this white normal eraser that we use. This is what I use here, but you see how blackened it has become, this eraser, and how by becoming, you know, black and full of graphite, it can give me these beautiful smearings on the drawing. Now, I don't want to smear everything with everything. I want to keep some things more, you know, more fresh, more abrupt, let's say. And just notice though here how nicely this eraser behaves, and how by smearing on the shadowy areas, I can have this beautiful gray midtones on this drawing. So the important when you draw is, you know, drawing can be as rich and as complex as painting. There are so many different styles of drawing, and it depends on what anybody is interested in. If you want to draw realistically, let's say, like the old masters, it's interesting to create drawings that are rich, that are work that you have spent some time on them. And of course, we have drawings by the masters where with just a few marks of their material, of their tool, of their charcoal or their chalk, they create amazing drawings. Here I wanted a more complex, let's say, more complex drawing, and I've spent around like maybe something more than an hour in this drawing. And see how by doing these smearings, but also wanting to define the shapes of light, it slowly becomes very, very rich, I would say. One another thing that I'm doing is, especially at the beginning, is I take mental, lines on as I'm observing my reference photo and the subject that I want to draw. I mentally will imagine vertical lines on some crucial points. For example, I imagined here a horizontal line passing through the upper part of his shoulder. I imagined a vertical line passing through the tip of his nose, coming down, and these mental notes will help me define better the outlines of this figure. This can be complex, and for many students in drawing, we place these lines not just mentally but on the paper. if we draw something out of a print, we place these lines, and the grid method of drawing is based on something like this. Here I wanted to just use my imagination. I didn't want to rely too much on these on actual lines, but I wanted to just hone more the way that I'm seeing, and I drew without any actual lines, but let me just tell you that I was very on an alert mode while I was beginning this drawing. I really wanted this to be as accurate as possible. So I asked myself, okay, the head is this big, so if the head is this big, how big his back would be, or if the height of the head is this, what would be the width of the head, and if the shape of the face is like this, then how big the shape of the hairy part of the head would be, etc. This is just to tell you that drawing is something that requires a lot of concentration. It requires, if we want, drawing like this requires some concentration. It requires a lot of questions as we are doing this, active questions, like I said earlier, is the corner under the shoulder higher or lower than the corner of the other shoulder, or if I take a mental vertical line passing from the tip of his nose, where this vertical line will cross his back, or so questions like this, and you will see when you understand and when you get the grip of this, you will see how truly satisfying these studies can be, how they can help you draw anything. We have students that say, I just can't draw hands, I can't draw this, I can only draw that. That means that they really haven't understood the principles of drawing. They haven't understood that drawing is a matter of seeing, and if you understand what you are seeing, the shapes of what you are seeing, then you can definitely draw anything. So do practice on your drawing. I find this very, very relaxing. Well, as I say, it requires a lot of attention, but it doesn't require any stress. So definitely approach this in a more whimsical, more playful mode, and without any stress about the result or about losing the proportions or stuff like that. This all comes with practice, as long as you truly want to hone your skills and to hone the way you approach drawing and the way you look. As I said, always with comparisons, always with the right questions, not if this is good or this is bad, but if this is brighter, this is darker, is this shape the same, like this, and questions like that. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful to you. Stay healthy and creative, and practice your drawing. It's truly amazing, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye.